Hey garden friends, I'm going to take you on a January tour of the garden. There's not a lot to see, but I wanted you to see what mine looks like during the winter season and, you compare it to yours. And I'll talk through a few of the plans I have for this coming season, maybe a little bit. I don't have anything written in stone yet because my ideas change, but this is what I have in mind now. So let's start here in the front, and I really do have a lot of roses still blooming. This is January. Now these I will come in and chop them back soon because it is that time of year. It's mid-January and I need to do it. Just because they're budding out doesn't mean it will harm them. Yes, they may throw out some new growth that could be damaged in a freeze, but I have no choice. I can't control the weather. And these do need, these are these do need a good prune. These are my Tequila Supreme, and they were beautiful all summer, even though this does not get more than 3 hours of sun at any given time during the season. This is my artist garden. This is something I didn't realize is the GMs will stay evergreen. You see all of the green leaves. I do have some self-seeded verbascum in here. I have oriental poppy that seeded itself. I'm letting them all go, and I'll enjoy them this season and then move them. I mean the poppies and the self-seeded verbascum, but the GMs in here I want to keep. So I had thought of in here planting a Louise Clements rose, which has the orange coloring to it, because this is the orange and purple garden. And yeah, that's something I think I want to add more roses to all of my gardens, because roses do great for me and they're just basically easy care. So you can see all of the things. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm learning my new gimbal, guys, so please forgive me if it goes a certain direction. Maybe I could put there. Nope, just the light. All right. Anyways, down here I have some daisies I dug up and divided. I don't know where I'm going to put these particular ones, but they will go to another part of the garden because this just blooms beautifully for me all season long. Up over here, this is one of my favorite roses. It's called Powerpuff Pink. I want to get the raspberry cupcake. That one was what I wanted before I got this one, but I could find this one and couldn't find the other. So that's why this is. Now look down there. You see that big pile of soil? That is from gophers being in there. And that's what they do. So I try to put plants in the ground that the gophers don't want to eat usually. Sometimes they'll fool me and start going into different ones. Up here I have my phlox, my creeping phlox. You see it's kind of drab this time of year. But I am going to be adding more roses up here. Now that I have my butterfly bush pruned back, I will keep it pruned enough that the roses will get the sun they need and won't be crowded. It is a beautiful one, but I tried to move it, but it's too deeply planted or rooted now. In here, this is Monarda is in here, the beautiful red. I think I also have my purple rooster. Now this obelisk here, I probably will move it. I just had it there to stake up the black-eyed Susans. Over here, I'm going to get another fence piece, and I'm just going to continue on down here. So that's why I don't need the obelisk there. And you see that rose? That is the Peggy Martin, and it blooms beautifully in the spring, and then it's done, or early summer. But it is a rambler that obviously just keeps on going. It's covered this fence top here, and then it's going to go along the fence top there. So yeah, I have my European rose right there, which I will support with something and keep it away from the fence so that the other rose, the Peggy Martin, can keep on growing. I need to prune back my this hydrangea, because if it snows, it'll crush it to the ground. And I could stick those cuttings into soil and it will root. That is my limelight, and it's been beautiful. I wanted to move it. I still could. I don't think the ground is frozen. We've had some warm temperatures, and I was thinking of moving it out further, like way over there on the other side of this post. Because right here, it kind of obscures things that I don't want to be obscured and shaded. But you can see down here this is another of the gems that I put there, because I didn't have room in the other bed. So over here is kind of where I've thrown things to try them out. And just let things go. My Eden Rose, what is trained along the fence and then up and over the arbor. There is a clematis there as well. And then here is the other one I have, and this one was created from a cutting from the one on the other side. So some heuchera there. I was going to move that. I still will. But I have alfalfa laid down as mulch thickly, and that'll keep the weeds at bay. And I don't know for sure what I'm going to plant in there this year. We will see. I like to plant petunias. They really fill in as an annual and do beautifully for me. And I may do that again, especially the wave petunias, the W-A-V-E. They've always performed spectacularly for me, and they don't need it super hot. Here, the super petunias haven't always done really well because they like it hotter, and I don't get the kind of temps early enough. So you can see I have my oak leaf hydrangea here, and it's slowly going. My pink dogwood, which I found evidence of borers in, but when it's blooming and leafed out, it does obscure the view down to the driveway, which was the plan here. But I don't know if it's going to make it. This blackleaf elderberry, it's already budding out. I need to probably prune it back well, so it doesn't become too much of a monster. Penstemon, other things. I've just let things go. I don't cut them back until later in the spring, so it looks a little shabby. Normally, my garden would be covered with snow, so it's unusual to be able to see the ground at this time of year. So let's walk down the side porch to Rose Alley. I need to move this barrel. That's been on that list for a while. But okay, so down this way is Rose Alley to my studio cottage, Primrose Cottage. Right now, of course, it's barren, but in June, it'll be just a gorgeous, gorgeous array of roses. Now, here is the plan. You see this big wide sidewalk? I was thinking of putting arbors up this way to carry it up further, but I didn't know how that would look since that's part of the front entrance garden area. If that would look funky going up here too, or if I should just put obelisks like the one I showed up there and have climbing roses on it and have it just be a statement piece there, but continue on the roses. Let me show you what a strange year it has been. Let me see if I can get up there. You see that? This flower, this rose is trying to flower in January. So that is just so unusual. Yeah, this area would be cleaned up and put roses in here and some ground cover. This has just been a catch-all for different plants that like it hot. So yeah, but this summer or this spring, or even now, if I got them in, I could plant them. I do have some roses I need to get in the ground. I just hadn't decided where. But you can see how it's all pretty barren looking. This is all roses in here, irises, roses, and other perennials. Same on the other side. The pathway is flanked by Nepeta. That looks gorgeous all summer. I want to get some more paludism daisies. They look really gorgeous last year. They like it, I've read, cooler. And I want to start them from seeds. I got them in a 6-pack last year at Green Acres. But I thought if I could seed them then I could have a lot more all around for the same price. My Love Song rose, I need to trim that back. It's was still trying to bud out. So I have so many plants. This is the Eden rose I dug up here to replace with the rainy blue. So I have an extra Eden rose there. This is over here, Zephyrin Druin rose. I've been pruning it back, and next to it is another pink rose that I don't know the name of, but I wanted it to be on the same trellis because Zephyrin for me only really blooms heavily the one time, and then it's kind of very sparse with blooming. And I wanted something on the same trellis that kept blooming. And there's the Warsaw Nike Clematis, which I'll prune some of that back. And everywhere here and there, I do have some boxwoods that I've started from cuttings that I just kind of put in. I like the boxwoods because they bring a little structure to otherwise very chaotic or unruly growth. Here, this is right here, Super Dorothy. This rose is supposed to, it looks like mini haha. I have not been able to source mini haha in the US. It's available in the UK, but I haven't been able to get it here. So here's my Crown Princess Margareta that I have pruned, and it really has a display in the spring going up there with the Warsaw Nike Clematis. Now here's, I was out here yesterday and look, let me see if I can see it. Oh yeah, right here. You see that? That's a bud. It's already budding out because of our warm weather. I know we're gonna get a heavy freeze, and it's gonna kill off all of my beautiful buds. So down along here, the primroses, the blue ones, are getting going. I dug up a bunch of the pink ones to put in pots. I'm testing these dahlias. I probably should have mulched them heavier. I never got to it, but if they live, they live. If they don't, it's not a big deal because I've kind of steered away from dahlias. It takes them a while here to get going, and I just prefer zinnias, which have the same makeup or look. So I did dig up several and put in my new greenhouse or on the front porch of it to overwinter. I really like the really pink pom-pom blooms, so those ones I thought I would work with, and just those few. So over here's more roses that I've cut back, and here's where I had deadheaded my Zinfandel hydrangea and just threw them on the ground here as mulch. See, look at that, 2 buds on my roses. So back here is, I want to clean up this raised bed. I don't mean clean up, I remove this raised bed. I had tried different things in it. It worked, and it's got irrigation to it. And I had my big compost bin right there, so it's full of that compost. But I don't need the bed out frame. I could just plant in the ground and have everything work. So that was the idea. I may put this somewhere else. Here, guys, here's another thing that I'm really afraid. My lilacs are budding, and that's going to get zapped if we have a hard freeze, and I won't get any lilacs. This is Bear's Breach, and it normally gets frozen all the way back. So far, it hasn't this year. So we haven't had them hard cold, like to the 20s. So even my rosemary is doing beautiful here. I tried to make it into a topiary. See, it has a little stem there, a big stem. So the secret cottage garden is just as much a mess, if not more, because there's things going on back here too. So this stump has to come out for me to put the rose there that I want to go up this arbor. I already have the rose, but I was thinking in the interim, I will put it in this pot over here, right back here, so it can climb up the arbor. See my stepping stones? I would like to get some more seeds for my micro clover or mini clover and throw in there. That did beautifully in the pathway all last summer of the rose cottage garden. My bench broke. My husband said he can fix it. I like the bench because it is very comfortable. My other benches, I love them, I love the look, but they're not comfortable. So that he needs to help me move. And this tool shed. And this is where I'm thinking of putting my new bistro set and have an arbor over it. So that is kind of the idea there. And yeah, my center piece, I put my Coco Loco roses in this container there. They did beautifully all last summer. They were over here. And this gets a little bit more shade. But I thought up on this level, and there's two in there, and they're planted quite close together, but I give them extra feed, and they did beautifully. I know I will eventually have to transplant them out of this tub because there's not enough depth for them really to thrive, but for a couple of years I can keep them here and see. And around here, the circle garden, I haven't decided what all to put in there. I wanted like a green, calm place in the garden. Here, this is called Australian AstroTurf, and it's a good ground cover. So I thought if this all filled in, it would be pretty, that color. And yeah, I usually a lot of times have petunias or whatever in there, but I thought I'd try something that was all green. Now you see these boxwoods all around here? These I started from cuttings. I have a video on taking cuttings and rooting them of boxwoods, and it's a super easy way to get a lot for very little or for free. But you do have to be patient. These got to be 3 years old. Now I have been pruning them down. You see new growth on them, but it just takes a while. You see some of these smaller ones were started later. They're behind that lavender. I want to dig up the lavender. It doesn't do what I want it to do there. I thought it would stay shorter. It gets very tall. So the lavender is coming out. I'm trying to get the boxwoods to fill in. I would love this to be, the whole circle to be covered in the boxwoods, so it's just that green. And it's a place for the eye to rest in what is otherwise a very busy garden. Look at the sun's coming out. So gorgeous. But I've been pruning on and I need to get back to it. My iceberg rose. I was watching another garden video and the one gal was saying how the iceberg rose was just too common, even though it's beautiful. Well, it's common because it is so easy to grow and be successful. So don't let anyone turn their nose up at something that's beautiful and tough and performs and say it's too common. But there is a reason that some plants are more common, and that is because they are so very easy to grow. And they are worthwhile to do so. So I do have to keep up, but I have to keep up with it becoming too much of a monster. Here's my Colette rose. I was going to pull this out because it didn't perform, and then last summer it just did fantastic. I also need to get out here and prune it like the iceberg. See, this is over here. This is the iceberg coming from way over there. It wants to take over, and it does, and it blooms beautifully all summer long. So the Colette's a little more persnickety, but it is a beautiful climbing rose. So down here, I was thinking in this area, because this is always changing, that I would put a couple of roses that perform well, or ones I want to try, because this is a nice sunny hot spot. But also I thought, you know what, I want to do more vegetables this year, and this is a perfect spot for heat-loving vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and integrate those into this bed instead of the roses. But we'll see. I could have a rose back here that does well. That's a James Galway, and it wants to climb, so if I put a trellis in there, it could just trellis up, and I could have my rose and then have my veggies too. So we'll see about that. This is a Gara. I probably should prune it back. It's got some dead stuff on it, but you know what? That can wait. Boy, I've been having the mountain chickadees. Can you hear it? Very thick this year, but I do have water out for them, and they love the black oil sunflower seeds. So, yep, some cleanup. You can see I've been pruning roses. I got canes on the ground. I thought I picked them all up yesterday. But yeah, so if your garden's looking like this, it's normal. Mine, as I said before, usually is covered in snow this time of year. So I don't usually can't usually see the ground. So this pathway here has become obscured. The strawberries had kind of climbed over it. You can see the different levels. I think you can see it. That's from the gophers in here being so bad. So anything I plant in these areas, I'm going to put in gopher cages. Now there's a couple more dahlias I left in the ground just to see how they would do, and we'll see how that turns out. Now here, this right here is an echinacea that's gone dormant. I need to dig that one up, and I want to divide it. There's another one over here, but it has the asters yellow, so I want to get rid of that one. This one did not have it. Right next to each other, one had it, one did not. It's amazing, but I will dig up the one, divide it. I also am starting, that one is a white swan. I'm starting more from seed. So these are my bobo hydrangeas that have never done well for me in that container. I had to dig them up again because they just performed poorly, so poorly. They're not even worth giving a spot in the garden. So I know some people have tremendous success with them, but so far I think I've had them 6 years and they've been a huge disappointment. So don't be afraid to try new plants, but don't buy 3 like I did and hope they work. Just buy one and see if it works first. This is a regular macrophylla hydrangea, and this is one of the ever blooming ones, the raspberry color. Let me see what it's called, Summer Crush, I think. And yeah, they bloomed all summer for me, which I loved, because a lot of times I can get a late freeze and it'll zap all the flowers off of a regular macrophylla hydrangea. So yeah, a lot of clutter needing to be cleaned up. My husband still needs to clean up that pile of debris from taking down the old chicken pen. I was watching Middle Sized Garden, and she was interviewing a gal who has a low maintenance garden. And she was saying how she embraces different plants that are thuggish. And this is lamium. This one can be thuggish. But for me, it's worth it because this whole area, I never get weeds. And it's kind of a tough spot because in parts of the year it's almost all shade, and other parts it gets more sun. So the plants need to be able to take both. But that ground cover covers the ground beautifully and keeps the weeds at bay in between, and it pulls up super easy. I want to transplant more into in my rose alley underneath the roses, and then I don't have to mulch. So there's the pile of debris that my husband keeps swearing he's going to clean up. Right now, I don't have chickens. He was supposed to tear down this and rebuild something, and I think it's going to take him a long time. So I may just go buy me some more chickens and keep them here until this thing falls down. And there's my new greenhouse. I can't wait till the debris is cleaned up because it just detracts totally when you're walking out here from my big, new, fabulous greenhouse that I absolutely love. And over here, I was trying some new things. I gotta walk carefully because I got some gopher tunnels that I sink into and it can knock me for a loop. Oh, yep, I just sunk into one. Okay, so over here, you can see the mountain chickadees over there on the beds. They're coming for the water that I have right here. Oh, no, that's some kind of a finch. Oh, that is so cute. Sorry, distracted. These are my winter sowing containers that I shared with you when I was winter sowing. And right here, I got one of these Dollar Tree cloches just to see how well it would work over my cilantro. And I'm impressed. It really seems to have protected it, and it's growing more healthily than the ones without. Now, these ones don't look bad, but the other one has gotten tremendously bigger since I covered it with this little cheap cloche. And it is very thin plastic, but it seems to be working. I could probably cut, these, like the bottom, off and then put one of these over it, and it would do the same. But I use these for my winter sowing. So yeah, this one needed water, so I set it in that to soak up the water. And over here is my Japanese maples that I winter sowed with you. So these are my jugs, wine jugs that I use for my Oya pots, or those spikes, I should say, that I get, the terracotta spikes that I put in the soil. So here's all my terracotta that I need to get put in my greenhouse because it doesn't do good to get wet and freeze and thaw and all of that. It'll crumble. So in here, this is my elevated raised bed I got from Vigo Gardens, and I did a video setting it up. Holy smokes, sorry, I'm really sinking here, so I know the gophers are just really going through this area. Anyways, I am loving it. I put strawberries in it. I also have the cilantro between the strawberry while they're dormant, and I'll seed some more lettuce. I wanted to get the lettuce seeds from Dollar Tree, but they just did not have the seeds this year. I don't know why. And maybe I'd look up online. I need to get out here and prune. Look at my fruit tree is budding out. That's not good because, like I said, I could get a late freeze and all the fruit will be froze off. So let me walk carefully over here because I sink into the gopher holes. Alrighty, yeah, my chicken pen is all abandoned. I need to get me some more chickens. I do miss them. Alrighty, let's go on and I'll take you into my new greenhouse and then we'll call it quits for this winter tour of January. But, yep, it is in here. I was puttering. It's pretty cool in here right now. It says it's 38, almost 39. But as soon as the sun hits it fully, you can see the sun starting to, it gets up into the 80s in here. So my work table, what's nice about it is I can move it around where I want it. My husband put up the shelf here. I have some more brackets, so I'm thinking of having one. I have one along the back. I'm trying to move slow. And then I would like one along this wall. So I could put more plants up there. It's just beautiful display. The way the sun hits, it won't really block the sun from the lower racks here and all of that. So down here, you can see these are Sahara Mix Rudbeckias. I had grown it last year. I absolutely love the colors. And I took seeds from my plant, and I seeded them in September, October. Now we are just coming out of what's called the Persephone period. I have a blog post on what all of that means, but the shortness of the days, everything stops growing. So for a time period until the days lengthen to a certain degree. And I think the 20th for us, or the 22nd of January, is when that is over. It varies to wherever you are in the hemisphere. So you can look up what time period your Persephone period is. But even if you had stuff out in the garden, it would stop growing. It would just sit there dormant until you come out of the Persephone period. So, yep, all kinds of beautiful things in here going on. Yep, I'm going to go get warmed up with some coffee in the house and wait for it to warm up here in my greenhouse before I come out to work. This area in front of my chicken pen needs to be cleaned up. You see how I made a trellis with the, so here's the tree stakes, and here is the concrete mesh that you can pick up at Lowe's or Home Depot. It's already cut to a certain size, but I just hung it on those posts as a trellis, and this is my rose. Let me see, try to remember the name of it. It is a rose that blooms in the spring. A lot of people, Cecile Bruner, that's it. Now there is one that's supposed to be repeat blooming. This one isn't it. So I haven't tried it yet. And I haven't really talked to anybody who's actually grown it to see how well it reblooms, but I would like to try it. So I need to clean up this pathway. You know, once it gets warmer, I'll be out here to improve things tremendously. So I hope you enjoyed my lengthy and rather messy garden tour for January. And I think I'll do it again in February. You can see the difference, maybe what I've gotten done or not done, and all of that. You know, I do my tours in the summer just to see how everything is. But this is a great way to get started this time of year and just see how it goes. I was thinking of maybe putting a bistro set here. I have a new bistro set to put up in, and I have the one that's in my greenhouse that I love using in there. But so, Rose Alley in all its barren glory. I have been pruning my climbers and tying them up a little bit and getting it ready. So that, my friends, is my garden tour for this time of year and all that it holds for you. So I will see you in my next video.